Sorry.
What in the hell was that?
Hey folks, welcome back to Dice on Occluded. We're back to some PowerWash Simulator with our good friend Kim.
Hello.
And we're going... Ooh, wow, this is... I don't know what happened here, but...
Bad things happened here.
I don't know if Santa's elves have fluorescent blood, or if this was just a toy accident, or what. But... In light of the sheer violence here, I guess we'll talk about something a little more... not so violent today with something I guess we kind of talk about all the time with our friends, just various topics that come up, but I guess in general, I guess it would be the how would you put it, Kim? What is the best way to put this as our subject for today?
Um, ha- ha- okay. Sorry,
Like,
I'm stuck in crouch mode and I couldn't figure out how to get out of it.
whoa, just the spot you're cleaning is so disorienting. Holy crap.
Although the fact that I keep getting stuck in crouch mode is actually a good segue into what I what we were going to talk about, which is game controls and how kind of they're a little bit bullshitty. Like
Yeah.
sometimes they're not intuitive and disability friendly.
Yeah,
Like this game.
and that can cover a lot of things, I feel like.
Oh yeah, definitely.
There we go. I think for me, like the thing that I've always thought about was like, I mean, I like luckily like I don't really have anything physically, but like mentally, like I do have my ADHD, which is its own challenges. But I remember a couple times like when I got hurt with especially like my hands, I couldn't play video games because like especially when I was younger, they didn't have like any options for like accessibility controls to like, oh, like you have one hand, or you know whatever it was. You
Yeah.
just kind of didn't play video games.
Yeah, and that is something that I'm actually having a fair amount of experience with recently. You know, I got the VR headset for Christmas.
Can you use that on here?
You can link you actually can link it to your Steam account. And I have the app that will do it, but I haven't actually utilized it yet.
Okay, I was only curious because this game is so precise.
Oh, I feel like it would be more annoying on VR,
I would imagine.
honestly. Because the controls on a VR headset are kind of fiddly.
Yeah. What do you feel like is like one game like you wish you could have played or like had more fun with, but it just wasn't geared accessibility wise to what you needed?
Oh lord, a lot of them. Are you talking just in general or with my headset that I have?
Well, like anything, like I know some people who like always wanted to play like Guitar Hero, for example, but they had some limitations in regards to uh,
Uh, facial.
epilepsy. That's what it was. I don't know why I couldn't think of it, but like they were like, yeah, I
Oh
can't
yeah, yeah.
play. I can play. They can play most games, but they couldn't play like Guitar Hero, which they were really upset about because like there were so many flashing lights and like the. It wasn't that it was all moving. It was just that it was like all this like flashing lights and like trying to be flashy and all that. Like instead of just like the buttons.
Yeah. Uh, One of the games that I actually have for my headset, Beat Saber, is kind of like that. Like
What?
even at when you pull it up at the beginning of every time that you pull up the game, it says, it puts the seizure warning and all that, which that is actually nice that they do that.
Oh yeah, especially like if someone's not sure. There's poop all over Santa's cloak.
Like Beat Saber, I have a particular gripe about.
Oh yeah.
I love the game; it's really fun, but I cannot actually play it with the like normally the way you play. You've probably seen like let's plays of it. But like the way you normally play Beat Saber is you have to hit the blocks, but you have to hit these blocks in the very specific direction that they indicate on the little arrows that come up.
Mm-hmm.
I am not good at that
You think
for
it's like
various reasons. I am not good at hitting them in the direction that you're supposed to hit, that the arrows tell you to go, because, well, for one, I am directionally challenged, and
the
everything moves very fast, which is not a,
the turnipy thing?
yeah.
Damn
Yeah,
root vegetables.
yeah, my sense of direction is crap. And also, when you combine that with the fact that everything moves like super duper fast, then it kind of makes it very hard to hit the stuff that you're supposed to hit.
Yeah, I think it's
Luckily,
fascinating though, like how different people's brains work like that though.
luckily the game allows you to turn off the arrows, but then they make it so that you cannot get a score higher than, that you can't get a rank higher than uh, A rank, I think is what it is. Which I think that is bullshit.
Do they think it makes it easier or something?
Well, it makes you less likely to get a game over, certainly, but I don't think that that is a reason to penalize the player by saying, okay, you have to turn this on, so we're going to make it so you cannot, we're going to make it so you literally cannot get above a specific score.
Hmm.
Like, that is such crap.
Yeah, that sucks.
Do not penalize people for needing that kind of stuff. It is not fair. Especially because, as I learned, couple of weeks ago, you can still fail a level on Beat Saber even when you have the arrows turned off.
Uh, why is this not moving now? You bastard, give it back. I need that. Ugh, it broke. Can you pick up the ladder? Because it's not letting me.
Yeah, let me try.
Oh, it wouldn't let me do it. What the hell? And you extended it?
I'm not
Whoa, whoa,
sure what
easy now. You're gonna take me out.
I'm not sure what happened.
I don't know either. Started swinging it at me though.
How do I put it down?
You put it in a spot and press F.
Okay,
I couldn't get it to move for me.
that's weird.
That was really weird.
Okay, now my stuff has stopped flailing around. Yay. But anyways, yeah. Dear game devs, do not make it so that your players cannot get a get higher than a specific score just because they had to turn on a few of the modifications to make the game slightly easier for themselves. That is not nice.
Yeah. I think one thing that was recently added to a game that like really helps me is I don't like my ADHD brain does not like a bunch of stuff on the screen that I have to discern things. Like
Oh, yeah.
it just gives me too much traffic, you know?
Mhm.
And like in Baldur's Gate 3, they added like a search function where you can specifically like search certain items, the type of item, the name. And that helps me a lot because I'm looking at like an inventory full of like me hoarding. I don't
Mhm.
like it. Like I cannot stand it when it's like, oh yeah, search your inventory based on what things look like. Like that's gonna make me rage, you know.
No, yeah, that's cool that they have that.
Same with like quest line. Like I will say that's one part of the game I'm not a fan of is like the quest lines. Like they will have like the quests like listed, and then like just the step that you're on now would be like, yeah, go do this, and it's like, wait, what did I already do though? Like what am I, you know, where am I at with it? Like, and I think with that like it comes like I need to see like a linear progression as I guess is the way I want to see it. Like I don't want to just see like what's there presently. Like especially like if you come into a game like months after you haven't played it, you know, because adulting. Like it's
So
like
Baldur's Gate doesn't have a quest log.
it does, but like it's say I uh, check out the goblin uh, encampment and defeat their leaders, and like you come in and I defeat one of the leaders. It just still says like oh, defeat the leaders. Like, and then so if I came in and I don't remember where I was, I'm over there looking around for somebody that I already killed, you know.
Weird.
And so it's just like it expects you to remember what you've already done. And there is like a completed section, but if you haven't completed the whole quest, it won't come up with that.
Strange.
Yeah, but like I'm a visual person in that way. Like I need to see things, and like it's the same profession. Like I need to write things down, uh, or at the very least have like a phone reminder kind of thing. Like I like lists. I don't know why.
Because lists are a very good thing.
A giant bubble.
Lists are good. They keep you on track. They help you know what you done, what still needs doing.
I think also too like this is kind of like sidestepping a little bit, but like it's it's also really frustrating when like people have an idea about a certain like wavelength, so to speak, or like physical condition where they're like ADHD. Like when I tell people I have ADHD, they're like, "Oh, that means like you're like squirrel." And like, "Look, something's shiny." And it's just like, "No, like it's not like that." Like but like that's just kind of the general portrayal of it. And so like there's not a whole lot of understanding in the general public of like certain stuff like that, you know.
Yeah, because they get their information from media portrayals, which always go for the incredibly harmful negative stereotypes.
Yeah, I don't know how many times I've seen like even the most basic mental health conditions portrayed in like TV shows as like absolutely dangerous and violent, and you're just like, okay, like I saw like Law and Order or something, and it was like this person has bipolar, they're gonna kill you, and it was just like, whoa, whoa, that's not how that is. But like that goes for anything. Like you only ever get to see somebody who like. I mean, I guess you would like have characters that you could assume, I guess, have like a certain wavelength. I guess is the way to put it. Like, cause like there's always that one character who's a little like eccentric, but like we
Yeah,
just kind of assume. But then again, like it's very rare you get like a good representation of uh, like any physical disabilities either.
physical disabilities do not exist in media except for if it's temporary or a very special episode.
A very special episode.
That's what they used to call them back in the. That's what they used to call episodes of, like, especially stuff aimed at kids. Back in the late '80s, early '90s, very special episode. It was always stuff that usually it was about like drugs and stuff, but
Yeah.
it was also those kind of characters you'd only see in basically episodes where they're pretty much their only purpose was to make the main non-disabled characters feel good about themselves.
I help them. Do you have any characters in particular that were done well that you feel like you know did something like worthwhile on screen?
Uh, Literally, kind of the only one that comes to mind is Dagon from Critical Role.
Oh yeah, he was a badass.
Dagon was a freaking badass. And what I loved about Dagon is that, yes, he was in a wheelchair, but it was not his entire personality.
Yeah,
Like, anytime you see characters with physical disabilities and stuff in TV shows and movies and crap, their disability is like their entire freaking personality. It's very annoying.
yeah.
Because, like, no, that is not how it actually is.
What? I mean,
We are
that's
more than our we are more than our mobility devices and our ailments, people.
yeah. It just
Dagon was amazing. Like, I loved how throughout the whole entire through all the episodes that he was in, like, there were no questions like at all of, oh, how did you end up in a wheelchair, this, that, and the other. Like, that was not important. That was not part of the story, so it didn't get brought up, and I like that.
that's an interesting perspective of that. Something that I gotta admit, like I never really thought about.
Characters with disabilities should be allowed to just exist without their disability being the focal point of their entire lives. And you rarely see it done that way.
Do you think it's like that people trying to like create more of a purpose with it than they need to, or like what do you think is the source of the problem there?
The source of the problem is inspiration porn.
Uh, they're just trying to like try to show like what people are overcoming for the sake of like clicks, basically.
Yeah, it's clickbait. It's, look at this person now. Okay, I'm about to go on kind of a tangent here.
No, go for it. That's what this is for.
So, A few years ago, I was at the so for context, I used to play D&D in a upscale supermarket that had a seating area on the second floor of the building. So one day we were, it was game night. I was getting my dinner downstairs, and as I'm waiting in line to pay for my food, this lady, the lady who was in line behind me, starts going on about how I'm amazing and wonderful and beautiful, and oh my god, let me pay for your stuff.
Oh.
I did not know this woman, and I told her like 5 different times, no, no, thank you, I got it. Like it was weird. It was weird how insistent she was to pay for my food and how amazing and inspirational I was for basically existing in public. So I paid for my food, and she gave me $20 anyway.
Well, you're nicer than I would have been.
I'm also, I was also kind of in that situation nicer than I probably should have been? Question mark. It was just kind of, I think I was just like too shocked to kind of really process what was going on.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, I did not know this woman. I never saw her again. Like, to this day, still haven't seen her after that encounter.
I mean, it would be a little creepy if she kept showing up. Damn it, Janis. Leave me alone.
And then I used the $20 to buy cookies.
You're like, so thank you, Janis.
You just bought cookies for the table. But yeah, PSA to our our listeners: don't do that kind of crap, please.
Yeah.
If you see a person in a wheelchair or with any other kind of mobility device or service dog in the wild, just leave us alone, please. We are not inspirational and beautiful for existing and doing things that you would not bat an eye at if an able bodied person was doing it.
Yeah. I think, this kind of crosses over into, honestly, so many things, but I mean, with this too. But, like, I think the problem with a lot of people is they think about things too much. You know? Like, instead of just treating people just like another person, which you would think is just kind of the default, like, people just get into so much of the unnecessary, like, labels and comparisons, I guess, is what you would call it. Because, like, you know, for a job, I work with the homeless population, and I actually, a lot of times, there are so many people who need mobility aids or whatever else, or they had a medical condition that caused a problem, and everyone's so like insistent that, like, oh, they can't do things, and I'm just like, dude, they do stuff all day long. Like, yes, it probably sucks because not having a place to go, but, like, don't, like, they're doing things as best they can. If they need help, they'll tell you, and if
Yes.
and then if they say, like, hey, I got this limitation, like, whatever it is, then go ahead and listen to it. But, like, I have a fellow who he utilizes a wheelchair as well. Dude never ever has asked me to help him or pick him up, in which we don't anyway. But, like, he it bothers him when people treat him like that. Like, he'll let you know, like, oh, I'm not really able to do that. You know, you mind, like, doing X and Z for me. But like overall, it's just like he does his own thing. Like he's and he doesn't really like having people talk to him like that.
Yeah.
He's a grown man. He you know he does just fine.
Yeah, that goes into a whole nother thing of, a lot of people with disabilities get super infantilized.
Oh, well, see, that's the thing is like I think because those of us who don't experience that, it's just like anything. Like everybody has a different perspective in life, and they experience different things. Me, like just there's so many factors, but like even just like me being a man compared to being a woman, things could be different from my perspective and what I experience and what I don't. But like I don't experience that. Nobody talks to me like I'm an infant like that, and it would honestly piss me the fuck off.
Mhm.
Like so, I that's annoying. Does it
I'm used
happen?
to it.
Does it happen often though?
It depends.
Give me the damn ladder. Ah, sorry.
It's fine.
Give me the ladder. Fine, I'll do this the hard way. Continue.
Parkour.
I'm being an ass.
Hardcore parkour. But no, yeah, it depends. Like, it definitely happened to me a lot when I was younger, especially
like
like
elementary school
like in my
or
teens. Huh?
like elementary school or high school or like what do you mean?
Like when I was in my teens.
Oh wow.
Because I was still because you don't because at the time I was still going to like the children's hospital, which that's a rant for another day.
Yeah.
Actually, no, it's not. It's a rant for today. It bothers me. I have spina bifida, and the only place to really be seen, like one stop shop for spina bifida, is at children's hospitals because they have spina bifida clinics where you can go see like your neurosurgeon, you're this, you're that, you're the other. But then once you turn 21, you're kind of screwed and have to find all that crap yourself. But no, like when I was 15, I had people, talking to me like I'm 5.
Yeah. It's strange to me that people in the healthcare industry would have those mannerisms, but at the same time, I ha- I apologize if I keep trying to connect in a way that's not related, but like with mental health, I do see that a lot as well.
Oh,
Um,
totally.
and it annoys me because like so in any field like that, you do kind of build your own approach. However, like respect is required no matter what, and like whenever I roll up someplace, I'm always like I kind of gauge the person like what they want, but I'm usually like, hey man, how's it going? Just came to check in on you, blah 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 blah. But like when it comes to like the actual illnesses, I'm just like I ask them like, well, what do you think? Um, like how do you see it and things like that, so that way I can get gauge like if they're like it bother like this sucks, I need help with it, or like oh it's just like my everyday life. Like everybody's different with it, but I never approach it like they're different, I guess, because these are all things like people just experience. It's not the actual person, I guess is the way I'm gonna say it. Um,
That makes sense.
People aren't like so people experience homelessness, people experience mental health issues. They aren't they're not schizophrenic, they're not bipolar. People experience those things, and if we keep identifying them as that, they're it sort of becomes demeaning, and then when people treat them differently, that also makes it treats them differently too. Because I've seen people look on a piece of paper and see those words, because you do get to see that, but you see a diagnosis on a paper and you start treating people differently like that, you're going to get some pushback. You're going to get a reaction because people don't like being treated like that.
Yeah.
I certainly don't. But we all mess up occasionally, and if someone tells you that, hey, that's not really cool how you're saying that or whatever, instead of getting all pissed off, you can just go, oh man, I'm sorry. It's not what I was, wanted to make you feel like at all, and I will fix that. You know,
Unfortunately, people don't like to be told, "Hey, what you're saying is not cool."
I would much rather prefer it because it bothers the crap out of me if I did something and like I'm not aware, and then like I never find out until I just find out they like hate me.
Yeah.
But like at the same time though, I know it's probably not the most comfortable thing to tell somebody either. But I'm different and I just
It
don't really
depends.
give a crap.
It depends. Some people have very different comfort levels when it comes to talking about stuff.
Ooh, this is pretty.
Pretty.
Interesting.
It reminds me of one of the little virtual environments on my headset.
Yeah, this map was very pretty too.
Ooh, that's cool. You good?
Yep. Sorry, did I change my outfit?
It looks the same to me.
Damn.
I think those only work on single player.
Oh, what?
Yeah, it's lame. Because in my
Uninstall.
single player, I have a purple jumpsuit.
Uninstall. Trash game, unplayable. I'm just kidding. But yeah, it's pretty sucky to have that happen as often enough for you to have to like experience it on a semi regular basis, especially in something like a doctor's appointment.
Yeah. Although technically, the, all the times that I have experienced, well, I shouldn't actually say that because I had one experience with a urologist that was not pleasant. Dude was very condescending. I only ever went to see him once, and that was enough.
Mm-hmm. It's all it takes though,
Yep.
because like all these things are very personal and stuff, and then when you're trying to get them taken care of, and it's the guy's just a ball sack about it, you're not gonna come back.
Yep. First impressions are everything. And that guy made a very bad one with me, so I kind of just never went back.
Yeah, I've I've done that before as well with doctors, and I'm I'm a very calm and like even keel kind of guy. But when I'm done and I'm done, I'm not really the most pleasant individual because like I cease caring at that point, and I actually care quite a bit about whether I hurt people's feelings or not. I think I'm stuck. These candles are toilet paper. Candles. I was like, why does Cassandra have toilet paper?
I mean, have you seen this place? I would imagine that they would keep. Well, no, actually, looking around, they probably don't keep toilet paper on hand very regularly.
Well, I
It
mean,
looks like it looks
maybe
exactly
though.
like the scenario from Night Before Christmas.
Yeah, That's true. That and the fact that if your diet's entirely cookies and milk, you probably have some mean runs.
Yeah.
There's a fire here, Kim.
Ooh.
Let's spray it. Oh, wait a minute. It's behind glass.
Ah. Oh my gosh, these stockings are cute.
Yeah, they are.
I want the one with the bells.
Just saying, the this game has very good textures.
Yes.
The other thing that I've had experience more often with my job is the whether the building is accessible crap,
Oh god, yeah.
to the point of like where it enrages me because like I'm responsible for linking people to various services, whatever, and like one of the challenging things is one of the main things that we'll do is we'll link people to disability so that way they can get their different things like their placard or their a means of income or whatever, right? Especially if they have something going on. Well, I can't use a disabled placard unless they are like officially that, like.
Right.
And the thing that sucks about that is it's a long, painful, annoying bullshit process.
Yes, it is.
And that is with people who like we know we have the exact numbers to call. They know who we are when we call. It's still BS, you know. And so like I've gone to doctor's appointments and there is a ramp to go inside, but it's on the other side of the building, or like the parking lot is like so bad that like you can't even like get a wheelchair out of the car, like. And like yeah, it's not a spot, but like what if one of the two spots is taken up? Like what then? It's like yeah, you put the two disabled parking spots in, but now the third person comes up and like just SOL.
Yeah, pretty much.
And don't even get me started on people like rolling up beside you as you're trying to get somebody set up. Like, oh, thanks for coming right next to me, coming in 20 miles per hour into the parking space as I'm standing there.
Yeah. Or thank you for parking directly on top of the white lines that are designated as not actually a parking spot, you dingus.
That's not what I thought you were gonna say. Oh, I thought you were going to be more vulgar about it. You sounded mad enough.
I'm also sick, so I probably sound weird.
No, I thought you were going to say you fuck, but.
Nah.
Like I saved those for the really bad ones.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm even on here. What is this? This.
Processing machine.
Oh, it tells you. I think this is Santa's pizza making machine. He doesn't just eat
Also,
cookies and milk.
also, I saw your note. I tried to write one back, but I'm not as good at that as you are.
Note?
Yeah, over there on the wall.
Oh, I was like, wait, why did I leave a note?
I tried to write something back, but I'm not as good at that stuff as you are.
That's okay. I'm of the opinion leaving gifts or things of friendship should only do them if you don't expect them back. Because otherwise, it's not a show of friendship or a gift.
Yes.
It's just you being an attention grabbing bastard.
I know, but if people leave that kind of stuff for me, I like to do something back.
Oh, I did the like showing where the dirt was, and it blinded me.
Oh God,
Oh,
yeah.
that hurt. I felt like I was looking into the dirt covered sun.
You did detect magic when the entire place is magic.
You know, actually, speaking of which, I'm sure you've seen this thousands of times, but I keep seeing it like in regards to any sort of like meme page that like talks about having a wheelchair or like a cane or like whatever it is by somebody who is using such things. They're always like doing the well, if it's in a fantasy realm, they would have fixed it,
God, yeah.
and it's just like same with mental illness too. Like people always are like, oh, just cure wounds and it'll go away.
Yeah, counterpoint, bitch. You're not allowed to make characters with scars anymore.
Yeah, fuck off.
Because if wheelchairs don't exist in fantasy worlds, neither do scars, because if magic can fix, you know, if magic can fix a spinal cord injury, it can fix your wee paper cut.
Yeah, and also too, like I always kind of felt like healing as somebody who plays a cleric. Uh, for me, it also always kind of felt like the magic was just speeding up the process of what the body can already kind of do.
Mm-hmm.
Same way that medicine is in real life. Like any medicine that you get in real life is just kind of stabilizing your body enough for the body to do what it already does anyway. Like it doesn't really do anything else. And
Yeah.
that's not like downplaying modern medicine at all. It's a marvel sometimes. But like when I take antibiotics, all it's doing is trying to give my body a boost so I can figure out like what's the the infection. Um, that being said, though, like the body can heal in some amazing ways. However, sometimes it's just how we are. I don't think, and then also too, like it again. Me relating stuff with me with like mental illness. I have my own things with that. Like I have mental illnesses that, and I'm not even talking about the ADHD thing. Um, there's certain things I think that I'll kind of have forever, like having like post traumatic stress from being homeless and uh, just general abuse as a kid. And I don't think it's ever going away, but at the same time, though, like I don't think I like the idea when people tell me like, "Oh, you need to be fixed," because it's like that doesn't feel like it makes me feel like there's something wrong with me, and I don't really think there is. You know,
Yeah. Cure culture is scary.
and it's like, no, man, like yeah, it sucks, but at the same time, though, like overall, I don't really feel like it is like a central part of my being. It's just something that I experience, which is kind of like what I was talking about earlier.
Like, that stuff's a part of you, but it's not the only part.
Yeah. Hopefully, what I'm saying makes sense in that where I'm saying like we experience things we aren't our diagnoses.
Oh, yeah, totally.
I mean, it's okay if somebody does identify heavily with that kind of stuff too, though. But I'm just saying like unless they are telling you like that's so important to them, I don't think it should be like the focus of like, oh, why did like especially in like a fantasy setting, like, oh, like you should just be fine. Like, weirdly
By the way,
enough, huh? What's up?
I said, by the way, look up.
Oh, the little happy face.
Yeah.
We're gonna do like this, so that way we leave it till the end. It's safe.
But no, yeah, I totally get you.
Especially
Yeah.
in regards to like scars being so such an interesting part of like character design sometimes. I think that's a good point.
Spells were powerful enough to fix a spinal cord injury slash give people mobility that they've never had.
Yeah.
Like it's one thing, like uh, that character from your campaign. Shoot, I'm blanking on his name. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
Cade. Yeah.
Yeah, like I remember when he was killed, and you actually asked me, okay, how what is a good way to approach this? You know, if he gets reincarnated as something else. And honestly, I thought it was well. First of all, awesome that you asked me about that, asked for my input on that. So thank you.
Yeah, of course. I just wasn't sure, you know.
And yeah, I stand by my decision on that, which is he was, it's not like how Selenia was, disabled from birth. Like he had been like he'd been injured in an accident and was made paraplegic that way. So to me, it made sense. Okay, he is getting a completely new body. So it does stand to reason that, yeah, this new body of his would have all of its, all of its neurons and synapses intact. And like that kind of thing, I think is okay to, quote unquote, heal it with magic.
Yeah. One thing too that I kind of like the idea of, and this is just a personal headcanon. You ever seen The Matrix?
Not all the way through.
Okay, so there's a spot where Morpheus talks about when Neo goes into like the little programs they use to just kind of like train and all that, and he says, "Why do I have hair again? Like, and why do I look like my old self?" And he says, "Because that's the way you picture yourself." And so, like, I thought it was in my head canon. I almost think with D&D, like when you get resurrected or something like that happens, like when it restores your body to its like like its fine state, I guess to put it, your body like has this like, mental image of like a or like your soul, I guess is the way to put it, of like how you imagine yourself as fine because like with like Alistair for example, he has a lot of scars. And the reason why he has those is because this I don't know if this is something you guys have picked on. I've never healed myself as Alistair. Like I've
I never
just
actually noticed that until you said that. I did not make that connection.
yeah, I was wondering if anybody ever would, but like he's never healed himself with his magic. And the reason for that is um he there's a couple reasons, but um originally it was just because it was kind of like a not really caring about oneself kind of thing.
Hmm.
And that sort of accumulated. But like the scars have always just kind of been there. Um, and but also too, like he feels like every time he has gotten hurt, it was because he was attempting to do something. Like he was trying to save somebody, or like, you know, got hurt in an important event of his life or whatever. But coming back to it, like if he was to become resurrected or whatever, he would still have those. It wouldn't just seal everything up, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Just like, you know, I have scars since as far as I can remember. Like, I've never not had them, you know.
Yeah.
Same with like tattoos. Tattoos are literally just decorative scars.
Hmm. That actually makes sense.
They're not deep, but if I run my hand over like my Vecna tattoo, like it's not very much. Like obviously there's a tiny bit. I'm sure that's like a matter of like how skillful the tattoo was, but it doesn't bother me any. You know, um, to me it's like it's just becomes kind of part of your self image because when I first got the tattoos, it was kind of odd to like come out of the shower and like look down and like see them there, because you weren't really used to it. But after a while, it would be weird for me to look down and not see them there. I guess
Right.
is how I would put it. It has become part of my body,
Makes sense.
and I kind of think there's certain parts of us like both mentally and physically, certain things become part of us whether we fully enjoy them or not. I guess is the way to
Hmm.
put it. But I think that's part of the complexity of identity is not everything is clean and perfect.
Or should it be?
And I think the word fantasy is misleading, in my opinion, especially in the 2D fashion of that. It doesn't mean that all things that we face in real life are non existent. It just means they exist in another reality with different rules and different um, issues.
Yeah.
Because the presence of magical healing does not negate the fact that some things are irreparable or some things are uh, part of who people are, I guess is the way to put it. And plus, let's face it, like certain magics, they would not be accessible to the average person.
Yeah, there's also that.
Like one thing that I've always kind of like pointed out is like a cleric of almost any kind can multiply the amount of food tenfold with spell slots. Yet there are hungry people in every city, right? Like there's never not somebody like that. And so like there's certain things where it's like sure resurrection exists, sure regrowing body parts exists. But how often are those people walking around going, "Oh, here you go." They're just not. And even if
Then
they
you factor
did,
in that a lot of the like higher level healing spells have the monetary component.
oh yeah. Which I
Like
find
that
really
cool.
interesting too.
I've always found it weird.
Yeah. You know what I would love to see?
Hmm.
Like I'm sure there is some out there. And I don't know if like how many people would watch this or whatever, but I would love to see somebody who has a physical disability like play a cleric and like have that ability to quote unquote like fix life and death and fix things like that, and like show people like, you can play somebody who has that ability and also like not go around fixing everybody. Like I would just love to hear about characters like that who aren't out there trying to do that to everybody, that is just out there trying to help people be they want, like the state they want to be in, I guess. And to like, you know, spread like kindness and stuff. As because I think that's really what like a lot of clerics kind of come down to. I think is like they pick like their domain and they just try to be the personification of that. And I think sometimes people get so obsessed with the I can heal wounds, therefore that means that is the ultimate kindness, and it's I just feel like it's misleading. I don't know if any of
I
that
feel
makes
like you can
sense.
blame MMORPGs for that.
Oh yeah, I get that a lot actually as a cleric player. When I tell people like, oh yeah, like I play a cleric, and they're like, oh, so you're the healer. And I'm like, I do that on occasion, yes.
Sometimes the cleric heals, and sometimes they punch things in the face with either magic or a hammer that's bigger than most people.
I feel like after having some time to really mess with a cleric, I feel like their role is that like the almost the same position as like a drummer or a bassist would play in a band. They're not the one like making the most noise and the ones making like the most impact necessarily in regards to like doing damage or even healing necessarily, but they're the ones who are kind of like keeping tempo with the rest of the group, making sure that they're on the right track and staying in motion.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Their support, they can heal, they can be really mean, they can be really dangerous if they need to be. And you are missing out if all you're doing is loading up with healing spells.
Yeah. Yes, there are so many way more fun things to do as a cleric than just healing.
So here's kind of a deep question. Um, like, so you have your character Selenia who shares um, your spina bifida, right?
I didn't actually like put a name to whatever it was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean officially, I never actually put a name to the reason behind why Selenia was paraplegic beyond that it was from birth.
Okay, I didn't know that. I mean, I probably now that I think about it, yeah, you never have.
But for hypothetical purposes, let's say yeah.
Well, actually, the thing that I was going to ask uh, doesn't actually address that. I was going to ask you with Selenia, that not being the focus of the character, as you know, like you were saying, what do you feel makes Selenia special as a person? Um, what makes her her?
The fact that she comes from a very long line of women who said, "Yeah, I know I'm supposed to be doing this thing, but screw that. I want to go see the world."
That's awesome. And she never really let that stop her either. Like any expectations of her, it was like I want to go do this.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny. I only recently like figured out that kind of parallel because I'm playing. I mentioned a couple of times in your campaign her great grandma, great grandma Ophelia,
Mm-hmm.
and now now in another RPG, I'm actually playing Ophelia.
All right. With your friend.
Yeah, yeah. Shout out to Dale and Eshelbel Toll's podcast. So now I'm kind of getting to live out. Okay, so this is what all the stuff that Ophelia got up to before. What is the right button for this? Okay, it's this one. Sorry, I'm forgetting like all my buttons.
No, you're fine. Oh man, looking at all this color on this other side is weird.
And yeah, I kind of semi accidentally set up the same kind of scenario for Ophelia that I did for Selenia, which is she's set to inherit the brewery, but she doesn't want to do that yet. She wants to go see the world. And so now she has done that. And
Yeah,
things went off the rails very quick.
as they do. Yeah, I
Like,
think at least for me, like I know other people aren't so focused on the same things as me, but I feel like with characters, I find myself kind of like touching upon some of the same themes, not on purpose, but I always seem to find myself kind of doing the same thing. I'm trying to do it
mm-hmm,
differently with the upcoming character Millie. But the other ones, I've had a lot of like character did some bad things, came from something difficult, and tries to overcome it. And so like I'm trying to do something a little different, but like I do think it's kind of cool where you kind of see those parallels with characters who are related, or even like just the only relation is really you, as like a relating factor, where you kind of see like
yeah.
those like things line up.
Yeah, I honestly kind of end up doing a lot of the same thing where I accidentally, oh, this character's story sounds very similar to this other character that I just got done playing.
Yeah. Well, like I noticed it before, but I didn't know if he did it on purpose or not. But like it wasn't exactly the same. But like I know Andromeda had the arranged marriage, and
Yes.
then Selenia had not necessarily an arranged marriage, but like one of those like, oh well, there's the nice blacksmith who's like really nice, and he's here, he makes a good job, and it was like expected of her in some way to just kind of settle in that way, and it just really wasn't what she wanted to do. um, I've noticed that theme, like, and I think that's interesting. uh,
My characters tend to, for the most part, have a habit of, I was told that I needed to do this, and I said, screw that.
yeah.
Which, kind of like how you said that you're trying to do something different with Millie, I'm also trying to do something different with Sunny. So Sunny's backstory, I don't know if I actually ever told you this.
Mm-mm.
She was a rum runner.
Well, really,
Yes.
that has its own senses of danger.
Yeah. And she started out as a fire genasi rum runner who her crew plane hopped a lot. So they were plane hopping from, I can't remember where exactly, but that is neither here or there at the moment. And to hide from the authorities, she took a shortcut through the plane of minerals. But the plane of minerals is a place where you cannot stay there for more than 10 minutes or bad things happen.
I see.
And she stayed there for 11 minutes,
Not good.
which is why she is a essentially a living statue.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, that's different from what I usually do with my characters.
Yeah. On the wrong side of the law.
Yes.
So you know what? I just had an idea here that I actually thought about doing, but I wasn't sure. I don't know. I'll have to ask Tim about it, obviously. I almost want to make Millie have a mechanical prosthetic, and just the half where she was born not having, you know, one of her hands. But I don't know if
Ooh.
that's really like. Do you think that's okay?
My advice, and this is the same advice that I give for anyone who wants to role play having any kind of disability, whether it's a physical disability, mental disability, what have you. Do your research. Like research what all kind of is entailed with having that kind of situation.
Yeah,
And by that I mean whatever, however they portray it on TV, don't do that.
yeah. I mean, honestly, what the approach I was gonna try to do is just it never really comes up because she uses her. She built it herself to where it just functions as she wants it to. You know.
Yeah.
Um, and so like I didn't really want it to be like the main focus. I just thought it would be kind of interesting to have. You know, like a. Uh, why she cares so much about the things she makes. Um, Not just for that, but like things that people make are always with a purpose and always with care. You know, whether
Yeah.
you're making like fittings for a horse carriage, that's somebody's like livelihood that you're making for them. You know, and so like it doesn't matter what you make; it always means something to somebody, and that's kind of the core of who Millie is. Is like she makes things to make people happy, to make their lives easier or better or just to kind of exist, you know. um, that's just really the entirety of her, I guess, purpose in life. And so like, and she would kind of equate that to the same thing of like, oh, this just it just makes my life an everyday thing, you know. um, but at the same time though, that's why I didn't employ it at first, because I wasn't sure how to go about it.
I mean, yeah, I've known you, however long it's been, and I kind of know that you would definitely not be the kind of person to like make like a caricature of that kind of thing, which so many people who you know get the idea to do this kind of stuff, it pretty much almost always they become a caricature more than a character.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
No, for sure.
But yeah, I know you, and I know you are not the type of person to do that. So yeah, I mean, I honestly do not see any harm in it as long, like I said, do the research.
Yeah.
like read up on like how someone with a prosthetic would react to certain things or move a certain specific way.
Yeah. Do you think the same thing for somebody, like any sort of mobility aid, or?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I have given this advice to people before when they bring up the subject of wanting to play a character with disabilities. I always tell them look into kind of what entails, like what is involved in like the day-to-day life of somebody who has that disability.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, this is kind of something that we should, like, we as people in society should talk about more, because I think even though like sometimes folks who don't know what this stuff is like want to try to do that, it needs to not be a gimmick, but at the same time, like, I think people could possibly get into other people's like existences a little easier if they attempt to understand it more, like you're saying. You know what I mean? Same way as it would be like me playing Millie as a female. I identify as male, but like at the same time though, when I'm making her, I'm not going to this going, I'm gonna be a girl, like a woman. I'm gonna play it as a woman. I'm just kind of making a character, you know, and not making it about that. She just happens to be that. But there are things that go with that. And
I
it's
think as long as you understand nuance, which you do, like you are very good at nuance, and you're uh, you are like the poster child for uh, a thing that another thing that I say all the time is when in doubt, talk it out.
yeah, I do talk too much.
That is not saying that you talk too much. That is saying that you know when to ask questions when you're not sure about something.
Yeah. Well, I
Which
think that just comes from honestly a lot of training at work.
yes, but it is still an amazing skill to have.
Yeah. It's just like also too like the worst that can happen is you can ask people and they might be frustrated with the question at first, but at the same time though, they might be asked this question in a much less finessed way all the time.
Yeah. Hmm. Or ask different other questions that were not asked nearly as tactfully.
Yeah. But I think uh that's another thing too is we all have something that we like. There's ways to find things in common too. Like
Oh yeah.
just because you don't have something in common doesn't mean there's something that's not parallel, and that's something that I try to do all the time. Um, which I do kind of preface it with I always like say like this isn't exactly like what you're saying, but I kind of like relate to it in this way, and I try to do so in like a tactful way. You know what I mean?
And honestly, that is a good thing to do.
Because like there's certain things that people are going to say that I've never experienced before. Like I said, I never experienced somebody talking to me like an infant when I'm at a doctor's appointment. You know, ever in my life. And so like my immediate reaction was if it was me, I would have been pissed. And so like but at the same time though, like I've had somebody talk to me like that in like a mental health appointment,
Yeah.
and it annoyed me because it was like you're acting like I don't know what I'm talking about. Like like profession aside, like I was like, I know how I'm feeling, dude. Like I know like how it feels. I understand what I'm like experiencing, and for you to tell me that like I'm not, like before even running any sort of test and just dismissing it pissed me off. Like, and it was like I did kind of feel like I was being treated like a child, you know. And so I guess I can relate to it with that, you know.
Absolutely, that makes total sense.
I mean, it's like someone like telling like the doctor or somebody like, "I have this cough. It won't go away." No, you don't. I'm literally coughing. Like, no, no, it's just in your head. Okay, great. If that's true, it's still a problem.
Yeah,
But like, you know, on a different rant, but related, I think there is a lot to be done and said about changing the perspective of how you serve people, especially in regards to like any sort of thing like healthcare, mental health care. Like, I think a lot of times, like they get in so much of a rush. And this is coming from somebody in the industry of like mental health. Of like they gotta slow it down a little bit and like let them talk. Let them tell you what needs to happen. Let them tell you what they're here for. Like, otherwise, they're not gonna show up. Like, especially with like regular doctor's appointments, it becomes the biggest chore and like the thing you dread if it's just you go to an appointment for someone to tell you what to do and tell you how you should be feeling and tell you what you know what your concern is, whether it is like important or not, you know.
hmm.
Because
Oh
sure,
yeah,
they may have the clinical part of it, but like you're the expert on who you are.
yes, yeah. That's actually something that I had an interview with another channel a little bit ago, and that was one of the pieces of advice that I gave is for doctors, just listen to your dang patients.
Mm-hmm.
Don't take whatever, just look at their medical history and write it off as, oh, this is just a symptom of this thing that's on your chart.
That's actually something that we actually talk about in mental health. That's bad. Like just assuming that everything is related to the diagnosis because you're going to miss something.
Because your patients know better than you what their baseline is.
Yeah.
And they know when things are not their baseline.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing that I've gotten so many freaking times. Like, yeah, I know that my chart says this, but the symptoms that I'm feeling are not generally associated with that anyway.
Yeah.
And also diagnose me like one of your French girls. You know what I mean?
Possibly. Now, is that meant to be like a give me the full rundown, or is that like
It's what I'm saying is forget, like, put aside, you know, put aside the fact that I'm in a wheelchair and do put aside that I'm in a wheelchair, take what the symptoms I'm having are, and do what you would do, like run whatever, like do whatever testing or whatever you would do for someone who's not in a wheelchair.
Okay, that is fair. I like that. But that is a good, famous analogy to give it. I just want to make sure I understood here. And I did. I was just impressed with the reference.
And I've only ever seen Titanic once.
I mean, you know what? Like, it applies to so many things, though, too, because, like, when. I think I've told the story before of the one time I tried to see a therapist, and the guy was like, the guy who told me, like, yeah, dude, you got, like, some post traumatic stress from, things that happened when you were a kid. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I'll figure that out. And then, like, when I was like, hey, this whole, like, attention thing, like, I'm having trouble sometimes, like, paying attention and staying on task and a couple other things, like, just, general unfocusedness. And he was like, nah, your parents would have caught it. I was like, my parents would have caught that I have ADHD? Yeah. I was like, yeah, you think so? You really think so after the last diagnosis you gave me? Oh, well, I guess that's true. It's like, yeah, you didn't connect the dots there. Like, and he was like, well, let's talk about your cat dying. And I was like, fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, I was like so mad about that. Like, he wouldn't stop talking about that, and it was like pissing me off. Because like I was like, I'm really fine. Like, I understand your concern. Thank you for asking. You know, I'm not wanting to hurt myself or anything due to my cat dying. I'm just sad. He was a good boy. And then like he was like, no, 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 let's keep talking about it. I was just like, I swear to God, dude, like, leave me alone. You're just pissing me off.
Yeah, it is at that point that you need to fire your therapist.
Yeah. And like it kind of applies to your doctor too. Like,
If you are not getting the service that you need and think that you should be having, then you are free to fire. Then you are free to fire your doctor and go see someone else.
yeah. Even like at my job at work doing mental health stuff, like, so honestly, like, my job is literally just to help people get to appointments and help guide them in the process to like figure out the craziness that is like the recovery process from mental health, drug and alcohol treatments, or homelessness. There's a lot to it. But like I tell people all the time, you're the boss. Like, you're the person who knows what you want to do. And like I'm going off of what you say yes to. Like, I'm not telling, like, if you ask me like, hey, what should I do if I want to go if I want to start looking into SSI, or if we're looking into getting a job again, or housing, right? I will tell you, well, here's the processes. I'm not going to tell you, no, you don't need to do that. I will tell you what goes into it, and you can decide from there, like, if you want to, make the efforts to figure that out. Because, all this stuff's work. Like, but at the same time, though, I'm not going to tell them, yeah, you're not going to do that. No, 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 you're not going to be eligible for that. Like, I'll tell you what their parameters are, and if you would like to still try for them, I will still try to help you along in the process. But my job isn't to tell you when you're wrong, you know,
Yeah.
and that's important. I've had a few people mad at me on occasion, but it wasn't necessarily because of something that I did. It was the situation, and then it's like, oh, like they're upset at the situation, let's talk to them about it, and listen to them. And they've always been like, oh man, I'm sorry, it was just the situation, I was being mean to you. And I can go, hey man, I get it, this sucks. But like, it's better to listen. And I'll tell people, if I ever like suggest something that you're not into, just tell me no. Just tell me you're not interested in that, or like you don't think that's important. And so like, there's a lot of sensitive questions that are to be asked in my job all the time, of like, hey, it could be like, I'm only asking so I can get to know like what needs to be done. Do you feel like there is any drug or alcohol problems that you want to address? And they'll sometimes just like, oh no, not really, or yeah, kind of, and like, or like whatever, or because sometimes I even like talk to people out in the wild, so to speak. I don't know who they are, but I'm doing outreach, and I'll be like, hey, instead of going, hey, are you homeless? I go like, hey, I'm just kind of walking around to see if anybody needs any services, helping out with, mental health services, drug and alcohol, helping folks like deal with homelessness. Do you know anybody who needs any help with that? I'm not calling them out. I'm just telling them what I'm there for. Because believe it or not, people don't always look like you would think they would. And that can apply to many things, whether it's
Oh
like
yeah.
not just like homelessness, but disabilities, um, people with mental health things. You know, I knew somebody who had uh, kidney issues, who was a young lady, and well, on in the winter times, due to I don't really understand it too well, to be honest with you. But like with dialysis, I know it can be a little taxing. She would have a disability placard, and people would give her crap all the time because she didn't look like she was having a hard time. And it would really kind of upset her because she was like, look, man, like, I'm not doing it for fun. Like, you know, I can barely walk sometimes because of the situation I'm in. And it was like, people would like harass her all the time about like whether she should have that placard or not.
Yep. Yeah, you see that kind of stuff like all the time. Honestly, people who are so obsessed about catching the fakers.
Yeah, it's not like, there's entire people who do evaluations or not. And even if they were faking, I would like, I don't know. I think it's like, in all the time that I've been working in the thing that I do, I don't think I've ever found anybody.
Uh, because statistically, the number of fakes is somewhere in the like 0.00006%.
Yeah, typically, and also too, I consider this with a lot of things. The way that society is, you really think someone's gonna try to say stuff about them that's like, quote unquote, wrong with them, like, easily and like openly, without a little bit of like hesitancy and like worrying about people like judging them? No. Like, people are trying their best to just, like I said, quote unquote, fit in. And as soon as they have to expose themselves as being different, it's really hard, you know,
Yeah.
no matter what it is, you know, like even just something as simple as wearing glasses, those are a minor aid, but they are an aid. I cannot
But they're
function
still
without
an aid
glasses.
nonetheless.
Yeah. And I remember being, I think it was in fourth grade, you know, I've always been kind of a dork, but like I've always been sort of like a very talkative and easy to get along with everybody. Like, I've never been awkward, really. But as soon as I got the glasses, everyone just suddenly changed about like how they talked to me. Like, all of a sudden I was like the dork, and like everyone wanted to beat me up, and it was like, why? Like all of a sudden it was like I was the target, and like I was like, you can't see, you can't see. Like it was a whole shift change, and it was like, oh, you can't do that because you'll break your glasses, or like whatever it was. And it was like, I've always played dodgeball with you guys. Like, what the hell, you know? It's just like it's, you know, perceptions change, and in the most minor ways. And also too, like that makes me think too, how many kids didn't speak up to say I can't see very well because they were worried about being picked on over glasses, you know?
Probably quite a few, I would imagine.
And that could be anything. Like so many things aren't being caught because people are afraid to speak up, whether it's like mental health issues, like glasses, anything. Like exposing yourself as being different or needing something, we're trained not to. We're trained to just try to function as best you can without intervention of others. And all that does is really cause harm.
Yes.
But also, too, we have this situation where people try to be the hero all the time. Sometimes we are not the person to get the job done, so to speak. And we have to be, in order to actually help, sometimes you gotta face that fact of like, I'm not the person for this. I'm not the person to help with this. In fact, someone else might be. Like, I'm not the person who's gonna, like, make a difference in this person's life by giving them $20 to eat their food at the food court. Janis. You know what I mean? Like, that did nothing but, like, make you feel like crap and annoy you.
Yeah, it was just awkward for all. Well, not for her. She thought she was being, hero of the day. It did make a fun story to tell my group when I got back to when I got back to our table, though.
Yeah.
And they were all just as weirded out about it as I was.
Yeah. I mean, I think anybody would be weirded out. Like, just let me buy my hot dog in peace, Karen.
Yeah, that kind of crap is why I can't stand like all those feel good news reports that come out around prom season.
Oh, God.
You
I know
know
exactly what you're
exactly
talking
the
about.
one.
Oh, my God. Ah. I.
And for anyone listening who doesn't know what we're talking about, around prom season, there are always a slew of news articles that come out about, oh, this person who was, the cheer captain or captain of the football team or blah blah blah, what the hell ever, uh, asked out this other person who is autistic slash has Down syndrome slash this that or the other.
Oh, fuck. I have a personal story about this. Like, so, um, I had a friend. I mean, so I don't want to say we're not friends anymore. It's just she moved away. She lives somewhere else now, and I just haven't talked to her in a long time. But she was my very best friend's girlfriend for like 5 or 6 years. Wonderful lady, you know, pretty girl, very smart, great artist. Like so many great things about her. She was on the spectrum. Like, what is the best way to say that?
Just like that.
Okay, I'm just making sure because I'm tired and I don't want to sound like a dick. um, but it never came up. Like it was never like a topic of conversation until this point, where she was invited to my wedding. Nothing ever was whatever. Like nothing was ever talked about. Nothing was ever like said. But then all these people were like, oh, hopefully none of the other friends hit on her because she was no longer with my friend at the time. Things were cordial, things were fine. Like, but like, you know, pretty young lady, like, you know, people talk at weddings, whatever else, you know. And people were just treating her like she was this helpless child who was going to get like exploited by all these men. And it was like, dude, she's fine. Like, let her talk to people. Like, she wants to mingle, that's cool. Like, but also too, anybody who's going to be a creepy dick, I'll talk to them. But like, not a problem. Like, there was no creepy dicks. It was just people talking to her like a regular person, because she is a regular person. Like, and they just acted like it was like a huge deal, like it was wrong, like it wasn't okay. And it actually made me mad. And I was like, guys, can you just stop and just like, if she wants to talk to people and like, in whether it's just as a friendship or maybe more than that, that's up to her. Like, it's not up to you to sit there and act like she is this like special case that needs to be watched over, or if it's so nice of them to talk to her. You know what I mean? Like you were saying, like the feel good piece of like, oh look, they're talking to her. Got a special boutonniere. I don't know. It comes across as that same like news report of the quarterback taking out such and such person.
Yeah, those things are just super skeevy.
Yeah, but I don't know. It just like it bothered me that people treated her differently for like no reason.
And the thing about those kind of articles, they are not to make disabled people feel good about themselves. Their entire purpose is to make non disabled people feel good about themselves. That is a hill that I will die on.
Oh man, we can't buy cleaner. Is it disabled for this?
No.
Santa, do you not want to have cleaner on your items? Is that what it is? No wonder why Chetney stabbed you. Man, we still have that whole other side over there.
I'm not looking forward to that, I must admit. Ah, dang
That's
it.
alright.
I just fell in.
you're like you're like flying right now.
I'm trying to. Ah, there we go.
That was cool. You were like, hush I so I was thinking, like I've been watching Lethal Company with like Bob and Wade and stuff like that, and I gotta say I am terrified of the Nutcrackers coming out and beating our ass. Have you seen them before?
No.
Oh my god, they're not only very loud, but they're also very fast. And I guess they'll come around the corner and just like Sparta kick you, but they also have shotguns.
Jeez.
Yeah, right? Like Bracken, sure, that's scary, but like stomping like clicky clacky uh like machine thing with a shotgun kicking you. And honestly, I can't wait to see it happen because I know Tim likes nutcrackers. And I just want to see him dive to one.
I will be safely on the ship.
Not a fan of nutcrackers.
No, I collect nutcrackers.
Just not ones that have shotguns and kick you in the groin.
Yeah, I just don't want to be murdered by one.
Why not? That's the fun of it. I'm just kidding.
Because, contrary to popular belief, I don't like games that kill me.
That's all we play.
I'm
Well, this one we haven't died yet.
But the thing about those kind of games is they are less scary when I'm playing with my friends.
Wait, what the hell?
What happened?
What?
What happened?
Elf Christmas schedule. Come look at this.
I cleaned that. It should be
Yes, but did you read it?
no.
Look at their names. Their names are haircuts.
That's weird.
Yeah. French Bob, mullet, high top fade. Okay. Can you imagine? My name is High Top Fade. Comma hat top. Or just top, I don't know. Bangs, pompadour. Okay, these are actually should be like canon gnome names.
Yes.
Look, Thursday's movie night.
And the movies, and it's all Christmas movies.
God, their life is hell.
Well, I didn't. No, I didn't say Hallmark.
No, but like, okay, Christmas. You know what? I gotta say, Christmas movies are a lot better than Christmas music.
Oh, sorry, you cut out.
I was saying Christmas movies are a lot better than Christmas music. Christmas movies, at least, there's some pretty good ones. Like Christmas music, like I feel like is very difficult for me to find one I enjoy.
Didn't you used to work in retail?
Yes,
That's part of the problem.
yes.
Because
Especially if they
retail
only have
stores.
like 12 songs on the playlist, and like three of them are the same song but sung by somebody else.
Yeah, I have never been in a any kind of store that had good Christmas music.
Like I had like nightmares of simply having a wonderful Christmas time.
Okay, well, that song's just objectively bad.
It is bad, but tell that to someone who loves Christmas and they want to kill you.
No, dude, I love Christmas. I hate that song.
My sister-in-law loves Christmas, and she was horrified that I didn't like that song.
Yeah, I
Like,
love Christmas as much as the next person, but even I can admit that that song is absolutely terrible.
no, Kim, you don't understand. This lady, we were at a Christmas parade. I love her; she's amazing. But she was drinking, and she was like, "Chris, how can you hate Christmas music?" And I'm like, "I don't know, it just sucks." And she pulled me real close and goes, "Chris, do you believe in God?" And I was like, "Oh God." Over Christmas music, I was like, it's really hard for me to get thrown off. There's very little that makes me pause and not know what to say. That did it.
Wow.
I was like, I don't know if we should have this conversation right now. Because if a Christmas song made you ask that profound question and you want me to have this profound existential conversation with you right now in the middle of like Main Street, I think we're jumping in a little deep.
Yeah, what was in that eggnog?
That 4% beer that she had, I was like, man, we this escalated very quickly. Don't you ever question the Christmas music?
To be fair, I am very select. I am very picky about. Are you?
Did you feel it, Mr. Krabs?
Yes, I can feel it.
Oh no, I'm stuck. Okay, there you go. No joke, I had the sleigh's like bar stuck up my ass and I couldn't move. I
That's what you
landed on
get.
it.
That's what you get.
I'm pretty
But
sure
no.
the bidet was better than me having this metal bar stuck up there.
But no, I'm very selective about my Christmas music.
I thought you for a second I thought you were going to say I'm very selective about my bidets, but Christmas music too.
Well,
Oh,
I well, one of them I have experience with, and the other I do not.
gotcha. Christmas music, of course.
Yes,
I think Tim's the one who had the haunted bidet.
Tim has the haunted everything.
Okay, but seriously, since we're here in the Christmas decoration capital of the world, the weird Muppet that he got from the attic from the previous owners.
The moose.
Yeah, the haunted terror moose that he got from the previous owners. Like I showed Kinley that, and she was like, "How was he not leaving the house?" If I opened up the ceiling and went in there and was like, "Oh, let me just like see what's up here," and I found a Muppet moose thing covered in
Yeah.
dust, I would be like, "Well, I'm calling a priest. I'm not religious, but this warrants some sort of spiritual assault to get this thing out of my house."
Yes.
Like, he wasn't scared. He wasn't sleeping with the lights on. He's just decided this is fine.
Because apparently he deals with haunted furniture and stuff on a regular basis.
Sure, but haunted furniture is a lot different than a creature with a face. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
sure, the chair is haunted. Cool. Still not great. But at the same time, though, this thing has eyes and a mouth and like
And
hands. Yeah.
at least didn't have thumbs though.
Well, I guess
If they
that's
had thumbs,
true.
if they had thumbs, then he'd really be screwed.
Yes, but at the same time, though, when it's trying to get out of the crawl space, it's going to make a whole lot more noise, which I think is probably it might be better if it makes noise as it struggles to get out of the crawl space. But at the same time, though, I don't think I'd want to hear it coming. In short, don't get weird haunted mooses from your attic.
And if you happen to live in a house where that already comes with a weird haunted Christmas moose, call a priest.
Call a priest, preferably one that is from Vesselheim. He knows how to deal with them haunted bastards.
Yeah, call a priest or visit your local rock shop.
Your local rock shop.
Because if they sell things other than rocks, they will already have all of the equipment necessary to do a proper house cleansing.
Hopefully they have like a nice like shotgun that will fire these protective spirit rocks into the moose. That's how it works, right?
Oh yes,
Firearms, rocks. Jesus.
yes. Fire the projectile at the moose and tell the spirits to GTFO.
Get out of my house. Wait, that's weird. My Hi Kim has like banners in between the letters, and it threw me off. I was like, is that dirty?
Let's see. Can I make this jump?
Wow, we are almost done with this.
I did not make that jump.
One eternity later.
Holy shit!
Freaking finally!
Let's go find a table to flip over. Take
Flip
that,
all the
Pompadour.
tables.
Sorry.
What in the hell was that?
I was spraying this thing here. You'll see in the
Jiminy
final edit.
Christmas.
Jiminy Christmas. Jesus, that is dirty. That was bad. There's gonna be that last like good part of it where we're just gonna be wandering around aimlessly. Oh, they didn't show that? Okay. How much money do we get for that?
I don't even. We got $500.
That wasn't worth it.
No,
It really was not worth it. Oh,
no.
alright, folks. Well, thanks to editing magic, we got the job done quickly. Don't let anyone tell you different. It was very fast. It was thorough. It was meticulous. And talked
Oh,
about
the
things important.
messages tab actually gives the story of what happened.
Really?
Yeah.
French Bob. Thanks to you, Christmas is saved. Oh, wow. You can do all of the. Wow. It's got some lore. French Bob.
Huh?
French Bob tells the story.
Yeah.
Not Pompadour. We had fun talking about the importance of accessibility in games, in life, and understanding where people are, meeting people where they're at, and helping them only when they're asked. Helping only when they ask. And not cleaning a dirty, filthy place when you're not tired.
Where people launch paper airplanes into the present machine and it explodes.
Oh, man. Yes. But, anyways, we'll catch you next time on Dice on Dakota. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Bye.